What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new rebuild. Today is going to be Arsenal, a 5-year project where we're going to try and win as many trophies as possible, mainly the Champions League and the Premier League, of course, the main focus points. If you do enjoy the rebuilds, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Once again, if you like the rebuild, what you see, you like the tactic, you can go over to the Patreon and get access to every single post we have ever done on this channel. You get the tactic file and the rebuild and so much more. So be sure to go and check that out. Let's go and learn about the mighty Gunners. This is going to be Arsenal inside of the game. We all know who they are. Probably the biggest team, if not one of the biggest teams in London. I won't say the biggest because I know a lot of Chelsea fans, Tottenham fans, West Ham fans, Palace fans will be watching. So, do you know what? They are one of the biggest, and you can see it here. The owners, they love the club. They're minted. They've got decent, not actually average youth recruitment, good youth facilities though, very good training and a very good reputation. A team that has won a lot of stuff. Of course, you can see here though, it's missing one key trophy. That one being Champions League. 13 Premier Divisions, 1 Europa League, 14 FA Cups, 2 Carabao Cups and 16 Community Shields. Of course, they are on an upward spiral at the moment, which is very positive for Arsenal fans, and that is apparently all down to Mikel Arteta. I'm still very torn on him as a manager because he's not actually won anything too big at the moment, so we'll see if he can get that job done. So let's go over and look at the actual team. Now, we know how good their players actually are, and this is what we're going to be using. It's going to be an Arteta 4-2-3-1 inspired tactic. Now, I am going to be working on a brand new Arteta tactic for the upcoming season, and it might look a little bit different, but this is what I've got for the moment. And I look at the team and I'm like, how has he not won a Premier League with this team? Because the team is absolutely incredible. I mean, the only weakness, if you want to say a weakness, would be Jesus, because he might not come out and score loads and loads of goals, but he's a decent enough striker. I mean, he's got really good finishing. Yes, he's pretty much the perfect striker. I mean, for me, I do want to get a bit more of an all-and-out bagsman in, like a Nassim Hem, someone like that. But for the first season, it would not surprise me if he doesn't become top goal scorer. He looks absolutely incredible. Martinelli, again, a ridiculous winger. Very, very quick. Decent finishing. Very good on the ball. Just an all-and-out star player. Obviously, the star boy himself, Bukayo Saka, a player that Arsenal fans absolutely love. Rapid on the ball. Great first touch. Good dribbling. Good finishing. Good anticipation. Good flair. The perfect winger. And these players, guys, Saka's 22. Martinelli is 23. Odegaard in the middle, he's 25. They're all quite young players, easily will survive this entire rebuild. Odegaard, one of my favourite players in the Premier League, by the way, an incredible player, and a player who will be in this rebuild as long as I can keep him. The midfield, Partey isn't the best, to be honest, in my opinion. Obviously, you've also got Jorginho, who's okay in the game, and Keywall, who is diabolical in this game, I will say. Declan Rice, incredible in the game again. Is he the best? He's not the best, no. Do I think he's been that good in real life? He's been average, in my opinion. He's been sort of iffy, but I do think in this rebuild I'm going to keep him because he's a very solid option. Simple as that. The backline again, you got Saliba, one of the best centre-backs probably in the world, to be honest, last season, so he is definitely going to be in the team. The goalkeeper situation, I am fully aware Ramsdale has left, but we are not quite on the up-to-date database, so I'm going to literally have him on the transfer list, and when I simulate, have him to accept all offers for anyone on the transfer list. So hopefully he will leave. If he does leave, we've got Raya, and other than that, we're going to have to sign someone. We've also added in Caliafori. In real life, a great player. In Football Manager, he'll be absolutely abysmal because he won't get into the team because I will not lock in players. So he probably will not turn into anything purely because of that reason, but he's a good player. Of course, their actual squad is actually quite small. I'm scrolling down and there isn't that many players. So in an ideal world, I would make signings, but I refuse to in my first season when I do rebuilds. Of course, if you are playing back home, you've only got £5 million anyway, and you are playing in a total of 5 competitions: Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup and the Community Shield. They are going to be predicting a finish of around about a 4th place finish. That seems very harsh behind Newcastle, but let's get into this first season. I'm actually going to be quite ambitious. I think we're going to win the Premier League. I think how they've not done it already is mind-boggling. They always bottle it towards the end. I think we're going to push it over the line and get it done. Let's get into season 1, see what we can do. Well, maybe I shouldn't slate Arteta so much because I've done what they've done and finished second, 1 point behind Chelsea. Of all teams that get the job done, of course it is Chelsea. Man City 3 points behind. Bukayo Saka third when it comes to the goals being scored. And my point about Gabriel Jesus being top goal scorer has not paid out either, so maybe this is the issue they've got. No real all-and-out goal scorer. I would also like to say I'm not throwing any shade at Kai Havertz by not showing him. I don't know why in my head I did not think I would not show Kai Havertz. I know how big of a player he is for the team. How I forgot that, I honestly do not know. But hey-ho, we'll move on. And as you can see here, no players in the most assists. Ramsdale didn't leave and is the most clean-sheeted goalkeeper, so that's a bit unfortunate for realism, but game's a game. It is a video game at the end of the day. But I'm hoping we have won something. Let's go over and look. So the FA Cup final was very boring up until the 83rd minute, with Ben White turning into prime Roberto Carlos to make it 1-0, but 2 minutes after, Lukaku flicks it on for Man City, and they equalise in the 84th minute, but we go and win it in the 90th minute, and it is going to be Saliba. And we also go over and win that Community Shield on penalties against Man City, so 2 finals against Man City, and it is going to be 2 wins. For the rest of the competitions, a quarter-final exit against Barcelona in the Champions League, and runners-up against Man City. They beat us once in the Carabao Cup, so that is going to be just two English trophies. Is okay. It's an okay entry season, a second place finish in the Prem. It would have been a lot nicer to win the Premier League and these two, but I guess you can't have it all, so it's a good entry season. Definitely stuff to build on here, and I will say in terms of goals being scored, it's going to be Saka doing a lot of the work, then Jesus and Odegaard, Martinelli as well, the players you'd expect. But Kai Havertz, where is he? He is down here, coming in with 3 goals and 5 assists, and I mean, he played a total of 14 games, so I think he should have contributed more, to be honest. It's not a great season for him, of course, but I mean, as an overall sort of entry season, the wing-backs also doing quite well, nearly with 10 assists each as well. As an entry season, that is very, very good. In terms of the budget, we've been given a budget of 135, more than that, £144 million to go over and spend, which is absolutely remarkable. And considering if we look at the contract situation, we're only going to worry until 2025. Let me go off that. We don't need to look at that. We've got the likes of Lokonga to worry about. I might offer him another contract. Trossard, I'm probably going to sell. Rekic, I'm probably going to sell. We have got no one to worry about. Jorginho can go. Partey, I might keep for another season. I might keep Jorginho for another season. There's max really 3 players here that I'm really going to want to try and keep. The rest, they can simply leave. And if Jorginho and Partey want to go, fine. We've got 144 million. Let's go over and spend some of that money, because I mean, I'm not being funny. The team's incredible, but we've got such a small squad. We need more depth. So a lack of goals means a big amount of money has to be spent. And when I say a big amount of money, not a big amount of money for a player like this, actually. £62 million. He comes in his first season and scores 28 goals in a perfect 38 season. And I will say, when it comes to the Cups, he virtually offered nothing, because I was purposely locking him in. I cheated a little bit. I locked him in for Premier League games because I wanted to see how good he actually was. And this guy, he's different gravy. He might have won me a Premier League title. And we also spent big on bringing in Costa, because Ramsdale is eventually going to go, hopefully, purely because of realism, not because I want him to go. And we actually paid a total of 64 million. He comes in and picks up 20, that's what I say, 20 conceded there, like as an achievement. Hardly any goals conceded in his games is what I'm trying to say. And for a goalkeeper at 26 years of age, this is going to be a signing that will complete this rebuild very, very easily. So it's one for the future. The only downside at the moment is we have got Costa, Ramsdale and Raya, 3 goalkeepers that can easily be first team. Ramsdale has got to go, so hopefully he will leave. Now, in terms of players going out, there was only these 2 here. Rekic, we discussed, obviously a player who was never really going to get any game time. He goes over to the Germany in the 3rd division, and again, has an okay season. Nothing too special, to be honest with you. But overall, I think we spent the money quite wisely. 2 incredible, clear investments, and hopefully that made us Premier League champions. Let's go and find out. Goes to show, you add a goal scorer into the Arsenal system. He's not even top goal scorer, but he is joint second. We win the Premier League by quite a fair amount of points as well. Odegaard with the most assists, and our new goalkeeper, the most amount of clean sheets. I don't want to say it was genius, but look at the stats. I mean, it's a great season, a very, very good season. And what I'm interested to see is, did we win anything else? Because I've got a little feeling, I'm feeling a Champions League final. Well, I guessed right. And unfortunately, we lose it against Chelsea. So that is twice now we've missed out on big trophies because of Chelsea. The Premier League in the first season and the Champions League. This has got to stop. The Community Shield, we do beat Chelsea, and I mean just by 1 goal for free. They seem to be a little bit of a boogie team. Direct rivals in the Carabao Cup, Tottenham Hotspur, we go 1-0 up with Gabriel in the 70th minute, and this is where Tottenham crumble. The famous Tottenham bottle, Saka plays it in into Victor to make it 2-0 inside of 80 minutes, and in the last kick of the game, Jesus is going to go down the right and actually find Havertz to make it 3. Other than that, not much to really talk about. The FA Cup knocked out in the quarter-final against Man City. Again, I'm actually very happy with this season now because it's a Premier League title, a Carabao Cup and a Community Shield, and what I will say is, considering the Champions League is also a real big ambition, to get to the final in just the second season with only really making 2 signings is a big step up. And as for a team, we are looking at 59 goals for Victor Osimhen. We've got Saka with 29, 16 for Gabriel Jesus, Martin Odegaard with 15, 12 for Martinelli, Saliba coming in with 5. Again, Victor Osimhen has come in and really carried the bulk load of them goals and put it on his back, and goal after goal after goal after goal. Fair play to him, he's got the job done, and I mean assist-wise, Odegaard really carrying, but still, I say carrying, Martinelli with 18, Zinchenko with 13, Declan Rice coming in with 13 as well, and Jesus. It's good to see Jesus not sort of sulking and actually still playing the games he gets given, because he can play as an AM, I believe, as well, can't he? So, not fully comfortably, but he can play there. I've played in there before, and he does a good enough job. So, I do think there is a role for him in the team. If an offer comes in, he will be going, because he's not guaranteed first team football, and he is priced at, you know, quite a fair bit of Wonga. What is it, 73 million? So if an offer comes in, I will sell him. Now, talking of offers and contracts and all that sort of technical stuff, we're only going to worry from 2026 upwards, so it is going to be Keywar, he can go, Vieira, he can go if the right money's there, he can go, Reece Nelson, I want to keep ideally for another season, Nketiah, I'm going to think about that. Jesus, we've talked about it. Trossard can go, Partey can go, Jorginho can go, Lokonga can go as well. So we've got a lot of players here that I will happily take offers for. If they get no offers, I'm going to try and offer them contracts so they don't go on the free, of course. But overall, we're in a bit of a luxury situation. No real worries about keeping any players this season, and we have been given a budget of £95 million to go and spend in the third transfer window. So considering, as of yet, no big players have left, we can once again have a bit of a free season of just improving the team naturally. Let's get into season 3. Well, just when things were looking pretty simple, you've got a lot of players that would not accept new contracts because they were obviously on the transfer list. Thomas Partey goes to Barcelona and has a decent season, but do you know what? Goodbye to him. He didn't want a new contract. That's fair enough. Same happens for Jorginho. He is going to go over to the Spanish League. It was probably the right time, to be honest, because he is getting old now at the end of the day. We don't get a penny back for him, which is a little bit annoying. But again, he served his time at the club. He's been a fantastic Premier League player in general. He can go and have a little bit of, you know, just relax a little bit. A Real Sociedad, no expectation. Enjoy yourself. Jesus goes on the free. Don't worry, he did not go on the free. He goes to the Saudi League. Now, they're paying him 1.5 million. Do you know how much they paid us for him? Let's find out. They paid £100 million for Gabriel Jesus. Now, he did go and score 20 goals, to be fair, but that is a ridiculous amount of money, and I'm sorry, I could not say no. And Lokonga is also going to get a free move to the Chinese League, funny enough. 14 appearances, 1 goal, 7 assists. A very different tempo of football, I would imagine, but goodbye to Sambi Lokonga. Just wasn't going to work out. Signing 1, new Liverpool man, now the new Arsenal man, that is going to be Chiesa. He has actually developed quite nicely in this save. We spent a total of 74 million. He come in, 8 goals, 11 assists. It's an okay return for his first season in the Premier League. And what I will say about this guy, what I like about him, there's a few reasons. So the first reason is he plays on the left and on the right and also up front. So that's one versatility reason. He's also incredibly well balanced. Now, he's not got 19 acceleration, 19 pace, 20 finishing, no real like top of the top stats. But if you look at his sort of player card here, he's just really well balanced. He's also played in a ton of real big teams. So this guy's experienced, he knows what he's doing, and he can win a Champions League. Because I mean, at the end of the day, with these stats, he can do it. Player I will always sign if he wants to join. Nicolas Seevold is going to come in from RB Leipzig for 94 million, where he plays 31 games, 7 assists, and drops a 7 rating in his first season. And once again, purely multiple factors, versatile, semi-young still at 26, incredibly well-rounded, and just going to bring so much to that midfield. And on the 3 is going to be Ruben Neves. He was actually linked with them before he went to the Saudi League, so I thought, do you know what? Let's reignite the rumours, pick him up. He plays 19 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. I'm not expecting miracles from Neves at the end of the day. He's mainly a backup player, but he is one incredible backup player. Probably the hottest bit of property in football at the moment in terms of young players that are up and coming, and maybe this is a little bit pushing the boundaries in terms of realism, but do you know what? You've got Martinelli, you've now got Yamal, you've got Saka. Come on, let's just keep adding wonder kids on the wing, shall we? It cost me 123 million. A lot was done in instalments, and the return we're not going to talk about because I'm a little bit worried about that, but hey-ho, we're going to move on and see what we've done in the season. I will say, in terms of players we got rid of, I think we've brought in a lot better standard of players, so let's go over and see what we've done in that 4th window. We've added a lot of players to the team. This is going to be interesting. Carabao Cup final, this time against Liverpool, not an actual London derby. Saka across into Victor Osimhen, a rebound off Chiesa to make it 1-0, and to wrap it up 2-0, Victor Osimhen into Tierney, back into the middle. It's too easy. And back-to-back Premier League titles, that is what I love to see. And a player that has sort of come back from the dead almost, Kieran Tierney, 2nd most amount of assists. We've not discussed him, we've not mentioned him. He is still here, he's still doing bits. Diego Costa, the most clean sheets, and Victor Osimhen picks up the top goal scorer. Now the real big question, we're going to go in and click it and just hope, because I'm not going to hide it, no fancy cuts. Did we win the Champions League? Yes, we didn't. Okay, 3 runners-up trophies, runners-up in the Champions League against Arsenal against PSG, a 2-0 defeat, with Evan Ferguson playing for Real Madrid, by the way, joint top goal scorer, fair play. That's 1 runner-up. FA Cup runners-up against Crystal Palace. Who is Ben Port Vale? Fair play to him, he's doing his thing, I'm not going to complain. Fair play. And also runners-up in the Community Shield against Man City. So this is going to be, well, it's an almost season, isn't it? Because we have literally, if you just imagine this, right? If we win 3 games out of these games, so if we win this one, we win this one, we win this one, it is a perfect season. We are so close to putting all the pieces together, and this rebuild's actually gone quite quickly because we have now got 1 more season to try and put all of these pieces together in one massive sort of confused mess and try and go out and win something and win everything we can, because time is ticking. I will say, as for a squad, we can't make excuses. The players we've got are absolutely phenomenal. We've got 57 goals for Victor again, Bukayo Saka with 19, 17 for Chiesa, Odegaard with 16, 14 for Martinelli, Declan Rice with 10, 9 for Gabriel. Assist-wise, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players coming in with 14 plus assists, which is absolutely remarkable. Now, I will say Yamal might need to be locked in for a season because he is not doing anything. He might need to be locked in, and the same could be told for Kai Havertz. So this last season, it's going to be pretty stressy. I mean, I will be honest with you, I was expecting to have won the Champions League by now. Maybe we're cursed, but going into the last season, we have been given a budget of 82, 110, forget that, 110 million pounds to go and spend. And I think what we're going to have to do is really look at this team now, live on camera. The best team: Costa, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice, Seavald, Saka, Odegaard, Chiesa, Osimhen. Apart from Ben White, where I'd probably play either Tomiyasu or Timber, this is a Champions League standard team. This can win the Champions League, so we need to go and figure out why it's not doing it. I might make a few tactical tweaks maybe, see what happens, because we've got one last roll of the dice, and I really want to win this Champions League. So let's get into Season 5, and well, we need to go make some signings. This is getting really difficult now. But I'm having that much fun. I forgot I was only in Season 3, not Season 4, so we've got 2 more seasons to try and win it. That is a little bit less stressful now, finally, and now we can actually spend a little bit more time offloading some of the deadwood. So first up is going to be Leonardo Trossard. He is going to be going to Atletico Madrid for £26 million, which I think is actually quite good, considering we've profited off him, which I didn't think we would do. Didn't want to sell him, but he didn't want a new contract, and he was asking to leave. Timber is going to go to Newcastle for £24 million. I will say, though, he's not developed nicely, so maybe it's for the best. Signing 1 is going to be Thuram, coming in again to bolster the midfield, and our midfield now is looking like an absolute joke. He cost us 61 million, and again, done his role perfectly as a substitute player. He is more than good enough as a substitute. Welcome in to Kepren. Pedro might not be the ideal signing, because I know a lot of Arsenal fans will be like, Is he Arsenal standard? I would say yes, because this is purely done for a perfect backup player. On the left, on the right, through the middle and up top, he can play every position to the same standard, so he is literally the perfect player. What I don't like is the amount of money he's on per week and the fact we paid £79 million for him. But he actually played a lot more games than what I thought and done quite decent if you look at the rating. So do you know what? Welcome into João Pedro. We spend big trying to attract another really good centre-back to replace Timber, and that is going to be Castello Lucabella, coming in from RB Leipzig for £56 million. He plays almost every single game and dropped a really decent match rating, and I will say, 25 years of age, and he looks incredible. The transfer window being pretty much wrapped up, in fact that is wrapped up apart from this one sort of free signing going out, we have actually attracted in 3 incredible players. We have lost 2 good players in Timber and Trossard, but I do believe we've replaced them with better options. So let's go in and actually see what we've done in the 4th season. Again, I do apologise about the confusion. I thought we were in season 4 last season, but at least we've got a little bit more time now to try and win that Champions League. And it's a good job we weren't in the last season, because we're knocked out in the quarter-finals of the Champions League. We are taken step back after step back in this competition. Barcelona bail us out in the quarter-finals. At the start of the season, there is a positive. We are going to lift the Community Shield against Crystal Palace. A great game, to be fair. 4-goal thriller, if you want to so well say. A very good game for the sort of neutral, I guess. A lot of goals being scored. It's a trophy which, to be honest, is quite hard to celebrate, isn't it? I mean, it's nothing really special. We do take the lead 3-0, to be fair, with Tierney into Victor Osimhen, and Crystal Palace are going to get a consolation. Again, it's one of these trophies which I can celebrate as much as I want. It's not the Champions League. But it's not all doom and gloom, because we are going to win the Premier League now for 3 seasons back to back. I feel like we have really dominated, and we understand how to win the Premier League now. We're doing it convincingly. We're not really slipping up too much at all. Only 3 losses in the entire season. The similar candidates, apart from clean sheets, we've really dropped off in that regard. But Victor Osimhen, top goal scorer. Ben White, very impressive to see him there when it comes to the assists. But I've looked at the competitions before, guys, and it's not looking pretty. It's not looking pretty. We have really dropped off a lot in the competitions this season. The FA Cup knocked out in the semi-finals by Brighton. The Carabao Cup, the 4th round by Newcastle. It's going to be a double winning season, and that is including the Community Shield. This is an abysmal season, and I'm so glad this is not the last season, because that would have been an awful way to end the video. What an awful way. I will say, when it comes to the player stats, I look at it and I'm looking at things like Victor Osimhen is now slowly dropping off in terms of goals. 29 for Saka is really, really good. 20 for Martinelli, Odegaard. But if you compare this to sort of the first couple of seasons, I genuinely think people just had a bit of a quiet season. It wasn't anywhere near the level we've set for this team, and maybe too many players have left on the free, and it was a bit of a gelling season, getting new faces in. There are a lot of new players coming into the system. Maybe that's on me for bringing in too many players, but I will say a lot of these players did not have the seasons they've been having. So I'm really hoping we can sort of go into the last window, if we need to sign anyone, and sign them, and go into this last season and, well, rock up, to be honest, because we're given a budget of 96 million, which is a lot of money. We might not even need to spend all of that money, to be honest, because we have got a very, very good team on paper. We've got really good players on the bench. It's just about going and moulding it. So let's now get into actually season 5 right this time and see what we can do. But we have to have a big change up, because this isn't good enough. First up, we are going to wave goodbye to Tomiyasu. He is going to go to RB Leipzig. Now, the reason we have sold him is because, to be honest with you, he wasn't even getting in the first team over Ben White, so he's not playing that well. He can go to RB Leipzig. We've doubled our money. Goodbye to Tomiyasu. Also going to wave goodbye to Zinchenko. Again, he is getting older, 32 years of age. He is going to go to Liverpool for £56 million. Again, he was never really a standout player, so goodbye. Nelson finally is going to get a move, and you know what? It's good for his career, because he wasn't playing a lot of games. He's going to go to Nottingham Forest for £22 million, where, to be fair, he had an okay season. And lastly, Ramsdale will not leave, so Reyes had to sort of take the punishment and leave. He's going to go to Newcastle for £40 million, which, by the way, is a £37 million profit. And because we brought in so much and had a big budget, we treated ourselves. We went out and signed another midfield player. I am starting to think maybe I've signed too many midfield players, but I just think you can never have enough depth. And we are going to welcome in Ravella, coming in from Lazio for £78 million. He's actually come in and had quite a good season, to be fair. So despite the price tag and that weekly wage, we've got a player here who looks very, very good. We needed a new left back as backup and a new right back, and I thought, you know what, let's try and play this smart and pick up Aaron Hickey. He can play both. He's world class. He is developed into an absolute monster on this game, and monsters, they cost you money. £65 million, but he almost played every single game, so he has been knocking someone out, or maybe playing some at left, some at right, and he has dropped 16 assists. That is probably the best we've seen in some time for a fullback in this team. I signed another left back purely because, again, I've never used this guy. I saw him being scouted to me and he looked absolutely incredible, and we paid what, 30 million, 33 million pounds for a player who looks as good as this. He come in and what, he dropped 19 appearances, a decent average rating, not as good as Aaron Hickey, but at the end of the day, for another player to be in the team who can also play centre back if needed, welcome in. Finish off this rebuild, guys. I mean, that is going to be 4 league titles back to back, nearly a perfect 5 out of 5. And I will say again, in this season, no one was close to us at all. A 20-point advantage, Bukayo Saka with 25 goals, Asim Hen with 20, Aaron Hickey the most amount of assists, and once again, we are going to be seeing Costa second with the most clean sheets. But who got first? David Raya. He was a very good goalkeeper, and it's annoying we had to sell him, but I could not have 3 incredible goalkeepers all under the same team. This is amazing, but you know what I'm worried about is the Champions League. Let's go and find out. We are in the Champions League final, guys, and there is only one goal, and that goal is going to come to us. We are going to be Champions League winners finally. Not only that though, we do go and pick up the Carabao Cup in the last season on penalties against Tottenham and the Community Shield against Brighton 4-1. The only thing we didn't win is going to be that FA Cup, but I don't care. We have won the Champions League, we've won the Premier League, the Carabao Cup and the Community Shield, a quadruple winning season, and while we have done this, the club info, I would imagine, has gone all the way up a little bit. It has a little bit, then it's sort of stagnated because obviously we win and win and win and win. So a very, very strong season, rebuild the entire lot. We've now got an official Champions League in this cabinet, which of course was the whole point of this video. And what I will say is, if you guys do want to carry on this rebuild back home, you like what we've done, obviously I've got a challenge for you as well, don't you worry. Your challenge is to obviously try and win the entire sweep in one simple season. That's your challenge. If you do want to get this rebuild file, the tactic, and all my other rebuilds and all my tactics from the main channel, access to giveaways and so much more, you can come over and join the Patreon, where you can be a part of 4,850 people who enjoy their perks on a day-to-day basis. You get everything early as well, priority in the requests, and I love setting you guys challenges because you always prove me wrong. You end up outclassing me every time, so hopefully it gives you something to do. I know it's a boring part of the game as well at the moment, so I try and set challenges to make the game fun, basically. So if you have enjoyed today's video, hopefully you have, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and you can also leave a comment on what you want to see next. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.